Live from Fox Studios, Fox 10 News is back.
Well, there are the pictures of Valley Man's home burning to the ground. But that wasn't his only shock, unfortunately, because 2 weeks later, he got a $20,000 bill from the private fire department that tried to fight it.
One state lawmaker says fire coverage in rural areas of Arizona is a mess. And he says there needs to be oversight. As Fox 10's Joe Monier tells us, lawmakers are now taking a look at the issue.
Everything was completely gone.
Neighbors took this video of Justin Purcell's home burning near 163rd Avenue in Dixoletta.
You could actually feel the heat from the flame. It was incredible.
Took this whole wall down.
Purcell and his wife were not staying in the home when it caught fire in August. They arrived later, only to watch firefighters douse hot spots.
It's definitely a shocker, you know, when you come back and your house is gone.
But another, perhaps bigger shocker was in the mail. 2 weeks after the fire that gutted Purcell's home, he got this bill from Rural Metro Fire Department for $19,825.
Definitely was a surprise. It was a shocker when we got that.
The bill was itemized.
$1,500 a truck.
The bill shows one truck stayed on scene for 6 hours. A second truck was there for 4. Each truck included 3 firefighters.
I think they were paying the firefighters $150 an hour, and there were several of them.
Those numbers are set based on 65 years of tradition, buying equipment, training, operating a fire service.
Colin Williams with Rural Metro says the rates are fair. Purcell lives in an unincorporated area that has no fire coverage. Williams says the bill includes surprise firefighters who were first on the scene.
In this case, the firefighters responded. They did receive mutual aid from other departments. Once the fire is knocked down and brought under control, Rural Metro units then provide the overhaul and do essentially the mop-up, if you will. So that takes a significant amount of time and significant amount of resources.
We asked to look at the mutual aid agreement, but we're told there isn't one in writing.
We do have what I would call a gentleman's agreement.
Surprise firefighters were on scene within 13 minutes. It took Rural Metro 24 minutes to get there.
They got here late and his house is totally gone, okay, and then they're going to charge him with $20,000 and they let his house go? I don't think that's right at all.
Residents living in the area pay a fire district assistance tax. The name alone implies it goes towards fire service in their area, but it doesn't. It's a countywide tax to help fund volunteer fire districts.
You can see it's coming out the front door.
The people living in Purcell's neighborhood have no fire coverage, but they say they didn't know that until after Purcell's house fire.
Coincidentally, we all received a bill from Rural Metro Fire informing us that we have no fire coverage out in our particular area. So they highly suggested that we finally begin paying some sort of fire coverage, which we had no idea that we didn't currently have. This is a bill from Rural Metro Fire Department.
Thinking they were already paying for fire coverage, residents were skeptical that Rural Metro, who just filed for bankruptcy, was trying to make a buck marketing their fire subscription.
I can categorically just reject that as being somebody's concern. However, it's absolutely in no way a means of us trying to generate revenue.
Admittedly, Rural Metro didn't market the subscription to Purcell's area until recently because their closest fire station is 20 miles away.
It takes a significant amount of time for us to respond to that area.
The back of the subscription agreement says response times will vary. So the options for people living here where the Purcells do is to pay an annual subscription fee of $300 to $500 a year for a fire department that's some 20 miles away. They cannot take their chances and risk getting a $20,000 bill like the Purcells did. Their third option is to form their own fire district. It's something that can take months, and ultimately a board will decide if they'll contract out fire service or develop a volunteer department.
But it's certainly something that needs to be addressed.
Senator Chester Crandall says fire service in rural areas throughout the state is a mess.
Having county islands that have no service, in fire boards that are just packing up and leaving, going bankrupt.
He's now chairing a committee that's looking at forming countywide fire districts.
I'm sure it's going to be helpful because it gives somebody some oversight, and that's what we don't have right now.
And the senator says there should be some guarantees when it comes to service and response times.
And there's nobody regulating arrival times or anything like that.
Well, exactly.
I had 3 bedrooms on that side.
Purcell has insurance on his home, but it doesn't cover the $20,000 Rural Metro bill.
If there is a service rendered, this business doesn't come for free.
When you do a service for someone, you usually tell them, you know, how much it's going to cost before you do anything. So we got our family.
Purcell says he would gladly have paid a yearly subscription fee had he known that that was an option. With a newborn baby, the couple doesn't know where they're going to get the money from.
We're safe, you know, we have a house to live, and we're going to stay there until we can figure out what we can do.
If it was reasonable, and I don't know what reasonable is on the amount of putting out the fire, but $20,000, you know, to do a mop-up on the fire is just ridiculous. Can't believe it.
And the cause of that fire has not yet been determined.
Rural Metro does have payment plans, but it also tells us that they don't give people the option to simply let their home burn.